Today, we find out if the Cardinals are finally playoff bound. 3 games left in the 2026 regular season, and thanks to an extremely weak division, our 5-8 record has not yet disqualified us from postseason contention, but the pressure is on. Week 17, we play the division-leading Rams, and technically, that game could mean absolutely nothing if the Rams win their next 2 games. It's on us, though, to make sure we get the job done and put the pressure on them in that final game. We play the Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. We're going to get right down to business. The 6-1 Giants, we play them on the road. They have a 1 overall point advantage on us, and it's time to see whether or not this team can finally put it together. It's been an up and down season. We could certainly have a much better record than 5-8, but regardless, we're here, and there is the chance to get the job done and make the playoffs. It's just whether or not we will. And of course, there is still the argument as to whether or not that's the best thing for this team. Another higher draft pick in the first round would be extremely beneficial as we continue to try and carve out this team. Of course, we have some big bright spots on this, on this roster at the moment, but as people have pointed out in the comments, the depth of the squad is still a little bit questionable, so being able to get those higher picks could be quite nice. Regardless, we're in the snow. Let's do this. We need to win, or this could very quickly become a sim to the end of the season and get ready for the draft episode. Let's see what happens. First quarter, and the Giants pick up the opening points. A field goal on their opening possession. They respond with a touchdown. 10-0 at the end of the opening 15. Let's sim to halftime. Can we get back into this? Yes, we can. 10-7. Now 10-9 after a safety. 12-9 at the half. Not exactly the score I was expecting, but we're hanging in there. Much better job in that second quarter. Through the third we go. We need to take over. We get a touchdown on the opening drive. The Giants respond with a field goal. 16-15 with 15 minutes left in regulation. Let's see what we can do. We're on their 31, first down, and we strike 23-15. Can this happen? We need to win. Let's see what the Giants can do. They are forced to punt it away. 11:39 on the clock. We take over at the 3. Just avoid that safety, please, is all I ask. And we do, but we are forced to punt. 9:48 remaining in regulation. The Giants on this possession march down the field and make it a 2-point game. It's 23-21 with 6:11 remaining. Can we get anything going on this drive? We started to. 1:30 left. The Giants start on their 20-yard line. Can we shut them down? Let's find out, shall we? I want to see this happen. Either our defense is going to close this out, or they are going to collapse and more than likely assure that we're not going to be in the playoffs, as Larson took over the number 12. Quick throw to the outside. Oh my God, no. Not like this. One play. Odell Beckham Jr. Oh my God. One play. Meyer gets beat off the line, can't make the tackle, and the Giants take the lead in disastrous fashion. 2 missed tackles. Griffith went for the strip. Meyer couldn't drag him down either. It's going to make me watch this full cutscene as well. That's great. Wow. 80 yards. 80 yards. 28-23. Oh my God. Xavier James took a penalty on first down. 5-yard pass to Barry Bentley. Do we have what it takes to win this game? Wow. I cannot believe that just happened. Do we have what it takes? Clock is running. We have all 3 timeouts. Let's see what happens. McCormick Quick drop back, throw to the outside, caught by Wilson. Not able to stop the clock, though. Cards run the hurry up, no timeouts used. 47 seconds remaining, ball on the 23. Here we go. McCormick steps up, throws, and hits the turf. 27 of 43, 257 yards for McCormick. 41 seconds left. All 3 timeouts again. Still available. Come on, Joey. I believe in you. I probably shouldn't, but I believe in you. And 63 jumped. Oh, God, no. I think 63 jumped. Oh, boy. 2nd and 15 from the 18-yard line. 41 seconds remaining. And how quickly the tides have turned. Here we go. McCormick looking. Pressure coming. McCormick throws out wide. Caught by Hughes. He'll be tackled in bounds. The Cardinals are forced to use their first timeout. Ball at the 24. 34 seconds left. 3rd and 9 at the 6-yard pickup from Hughes. Here we go. McCormick play action. Looking. Throws out wide again. Caught wide open. Wilson. That will stop the clock as well. Ball up to the 41 with 30 seconds remaining. Vincent Wilson wide open on that out route. Audible at the line. McCormick looking. Throws out wide again to the sidelines. Mack picks up 7. And this is looking okay. Excellent play. Excellent play calling. Hitting the men on the outside corner. I'm so nervous for this. We have to win it. I cannot believe that OBJ just did that. How I wish I started this series after he was traded. 2nd and 3 from the 48. McCormick, play action again. Looking. Goes deep. Caught by Wilson. Ball to the 18 with 20 seconds left. 1 timeout remaining for the Cards. Here we go. What a throw and what a catch from Wilson. Play action again from McCormick. Looking. Throws deep. Touchdown Cardinals. Mack. What a drive. Joey McCormick and the Cardinals take the lead with 15 seconds remaining. Nobody expected that. I'm at the top of the list. A wide open Mack in the end zone. What a drive. Can we hold on for 15 seconds? We are going for 2. Of course, it makes all the sense in the world. Oh my God, what a play. McCormick looking out wide, catches Mack wide open again. The 2-point conversion is successful. 31-28 with, again, 15 seconds to go in regulation. McCormick, Wilson, Mack getting it done on that drive. That kick goes through the end zone, or out the back of the end zone. The ball will be placed at 25. 15 seconds remaining. Can the Cardinals defense hold on? Triple team OBJ, please. Oh my goodness. 2 timeouts at the Giants' disposal. Larson goes out wide. He was looking for the quick hit. It was knocked down, though. Man, look at the difference in possession time and the amount of plays run. Whew. Second down. 12 seconds remaining. It just sounded weird to say. Larson looking. Throws over the middle. Caught by OBJ. Cuts to the outside. Gets taken down at the 45. The Giants call a timeout with 5 seconds remaining. This is it. Right here, right now. Hail Mary situation. Can we make the stop? Larson, quick throw. Knocked down. 1 second remaining. They'll have one more chance. Oh, God. Come on. I believe in you. Make the stop. Keep our playoff hopes alive. This is the exact type of win you need to spark a playoff push in Week 15. Here we go. Larson, quick throw. Hits the turf, and the Cardinals avoid disaster and win it in the 4th quarter. OBJ's 80-yard touchdown to give them the lead with under 2 minutes remaining was not enough. Joey McCormick with a career highlight on that drive. Perfect throws, except for one. Tremendous effort. Mack and Wilson, again, were phenomenal. I cannot believe we won that game. You'll have to excuse me for being stunned, but come on. When OBJ got that touchdown, game over. Not this time. Not this time. And our playoff hopes are still alive. McCormick, 32 of 48, 339 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Hughes, 79 yards rushing with a touchdown. Not too bad. Reynaud with a couple of carries as well, but he did pick up an injury. Receiving-wise, Wilson led the way in terms of yardage, Farrell in terms of receptions, but the 2 touchdowns for Mack and 1 for Sapp, who picked up an injury as well, which could be devastating for us. Oh boy, no sacks allowed by the O-line. And defensively, it was Harvey Gardner leading the way. A couple of tackles for loss, 3 sacks on the day, 2 from Frank King, no interceptions. Grant Frome was not called upon. The big question now is whether or not the Rams lost. I didn't even think to look at the scoreboard ticker at the bottom until just now. We do have an injury. Is it going to be to Reynaud or is it going to be to the tight end? It is going to be to Sapp. That hurts. He's out for nearly the rest of the season. Rookie tight end, he's had a strong year thus far. At least I'm okay with it. And we'll see if our depth can step up here. What's the situation? The Rams won. Not good. Not good at all. We need the Rams to lose this week, and we need to beat them next week. So we have to win out, and we need to hope that the Rams lose this week, or it's all for naught. Blake Ramirez gets an upgrade point. We'll make him better as a pass protector. He goes up to a 79 overall. +1s across the board for him. Oh, that injury to Sapp really hurts. Let's see what we can do in terms of scouting. Not that I'm exactly the most focused on it. Of course, the O-line's taken care of. I completely forget where we were scouting, I gotta be honest with you. I think we were on the secondary, weren't we? Nope, we're done with the secondary. Okay. That's fine. Then we're making good time. Okay, so yeah, there was 1 safety left and we stopped. Okay. So yeah, we are on linebackers, and I remember that we don't have a linebacker-specific scout. I'm going to avoid scouting those 5th-rounders, and we'll go back with these middle linebackers here. Couple of good options. Tate Runyon. Great name. Great name. Way to go, Mr. and Mrs. Runyon. The 6-8 Cardinals visit the 4-9-1 Niners, which is hilarious. It's insane, though, that we're having to do this on the road as well. It will be Marshall and Bentley who are called upon to get the job done. Let's see what happens. It is a must-win game. 79 rated each. And we need to hope that the Rams lose. If they do not, the result of this game is irrelevant. A marvelous game-winning drive in the 4th quarter from Joey McCormick in the last game. Will that go to waste? That's the question. I hate that we're even in this situation. Again, we should have been in a much better spot this year, but we haven't played up to our full potential. And again, we've talked about it as far as the rest of the league is concerned, with everybody having a similar overall number. It was very much possible for us to win this division outright. Let's see what we can do. I guess that dream is still alive, is it not? First quarter against San Francisco. Let's do this. Niners get the opening points with a field goal. We respond in kind. They get another one, 6-3 at the end of the first. To halftime we go, 6-all, now 13-6. And that score will hold. Second half, we start off by not being able to capitalize on an opening possession, 16-6. Is there a comeback in the cards? You see multiple meaning there. 4th quarter, let's do this. Come on, we get a field goal. 16-9 with 12:48 remaining. San Francisco gets another touchdown and the pressure's on. 23-9. Can we come back? We cannot. And I think it's over. A spectacular win, but nothing today. San Francisco is going to win this game. And that is it. We just didn't show up today. No hype, no drama to it. And that's been the story of this year. Big win, and then we let it go to waste. McCormick, 24 of 41 for 253 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. Hughes, the running game really couldn't get anything going. Wilson led the way in terms of reception and yardage. The offensive line was absolutely demolished today. 4 sacks allowed, then of course the 2 from one of each running back. Clement Cole had some big games, but still a horrid performance. And we are done. At the very least, and again, it is because of a weak division, but at the very least, it was worth following along up until week 16. But we are going to fall just short. As much as that sucks, the Rams won again last week, so in the end, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Because of that tie, they would have won the division no matter what. So I feel better about that. It would have been devastating for us to have won both games, only then to learn that, okay, you don't have a chance because the Rams won out. So I guess I feel a little bit better about it. But not really, because we were good enough. We should have been able to win this division. And it's very, very disappointing that we didn't. On the bright side, I suppose, because we have no other way to look at it, this team might finally be turning the corner. It's our most successful season to date. We're obviously going to skip that game against the Rams. It is our most successful season to date. And one more draft might be enough, as we ended up losing that game as well. One more draft might be enough to get us towards the top of this division. As far as the yearly awards are concerned, George Reynaud was league MVP for the Patriots. We didn't have anybody there in the running. And actually, I wanted to... Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Thank you. Coach of the Year, Norman Statton of the Patriots as well. Again, for the AFC awards, just going to go through this relatively quickly since it's not all that relevant to what we're doing here. But, you might see names that are either still in the league or you might see a rookie. Like, hey, you should have drafted Gilbert Baggs when you had the chance. I don't know if I had the chance to draft Gilbert Baggs, but people love to tell me when we swung and missed on players. Let's see, NFC Offensive Player of the Year was Reed Riley of the Packers. We had nobody up there. Defensive Player of the Year, Eric Powers of the Panthers. We had nobody up there. Offensive Rookie of the Year, Rayshon Sapp finished in 4th. Which isn't all that bad. Defensive Rookie of the Year, we won that. Harvey Gardner. Well done. We also had Morgan. Good old Tremaine Morgan was there as well. Best quarterback. There's no way. Yeah. Best running back. Alvin Kamara wins that. We did not have anybody in the running. Best wide receiver. Jamius Mack finishes 6th in voting. Best offensive lineman. No nominees there. Best defensive line, Frank King. So we moved him to the defensive line from linebacker this season. Worked out relatively well. George Christie was also in the top 8. Top linebackers, Darby Clem was in 10th. Best defensive backs, yeah, that's a bad sign. AJ Ross was there, though. Best kicker, Grant Frome was 9th. And that's that. Of course, we'll take a look at the individual stats and everything, but let's see what kind of upgrades we have. George Christie and Harvey Gardner. So Christie should make it up to an 85, and he does, which is pretty nice. I know a lot of people were concerned about him not developing, but I'll take an 85 defensive tackle. Not too bad. And Harvey Gardner should make it up to an 80, and he does. Well done, Harvey. You had a great season. Of course, we'll see. We'll see the stats in a moment, but man, what a disappointing way to end this season. We need to re-sign our head coach and team trainer. So, Mr. Nagy, I'd prefer if you don't leave, thanks. Current contract is 3 years at $5 million. I'm going to bump that up to like $6 million because we have all the money in the world. I need to make sure he stays because if we lose him, that's a huge hit with the amount of bonuses we already have. Granted, we haven't been able to win with him here yet, but I don't exactly blame him for that. Because after all, he's just a stand-in and we've been changing everything. as much as we can. So we'll give him a raise. We'll go up to $6 million for 3 years. And Dan Winters also needs to come back. I'm going to give him $500K. Might as well. And hopefully he accepts that. Of course, we rotate through scouts like it's nothing. So that's good. Let's take a look here then at what the final season standings ended up being. The Browns are the top team in the NFL. The AFC North, you have the Browns and Ravens making it. AFC South, you have the Jags and Titans. AFC East, only the Patriots. And out of the AFC West, only the Raiders. NFC North, Packers and Lions both make it. NFC South, you only have the Panthers. NFC East, you have the Cowboys and Giants. And then out of the NFC West, of course, the Rams. And unfortunately, we finished dead last on tiebreaker, which actually might be better for us then. Technically, we finished 28th in the league, which is actually good news for us because that's going to result in a higher draft pick. So thank God for tiebreakers. We could have finished as high as 25th. So we do finish in the bottom 5, despite being just, 2-3 games out of a playoff spot. That's not too bad, actually. So overall, I'll take it. Again, if we're going to miss, I'd rather not screw ourselves out of a better spot. So in terms of team stats, let's take a look here. Our offense was at least not one of, at the low end. It wasn't exactly at the high end either. It was a little bit closer to the higher up levels, though. The passing game was solid, although you would have seen McCormick, the lack of touchdowns, considering the yardage, very disappointing. The rushing game was actually not bottom 5 in the league. It was bottom 10. It's a little bit better than I expected. Points per game, though, that's the big issue. Our red zone offense is non-existent. Third fewest points per game despite having a decent offense. That's the issue right then and there. That's very clearly our biggest issue. In terms of our defense, we also had a bottom 4 defense, so that did not help, which again, you think about the talent that we have on defense, I'd like to think we'd be better than that, but apparently not. 42 sacks on the year as well was up there. It's so frustrating to see this happen. We didn't recover a single fumble this year, by the way. Conversion-wise, or third down conversion, I mainly want to see red zone efficiency because it has to be terrible, right? It has to be. No? How do we have one of the best red zone efficiencies? I don't get how we just rack up so many yards and then fail to convert. I fail to see why that's, just how that happens. I mean, I can assume why, but it's still frustrating. As far as the player stats for this year, McCormick passes for nearly 4,300 yards, 20 touchdowns, 14 picks. Not ideal. Rushing-wise, the running game was almost non-existent this year, but Hughes and Reynaud with some touchdowns. James had as many touchdowns as Hughes, which is very concerning. Receiving-wise, Mack led the way in terms of receptions and total yardage, breaking the 1,100 mark. Led the team with 9 touchdowns as well. Our star receiver, blocking-wise, for once, nope, it was still brutal. I was going to say, for once, did we not have anybody in double digits? Oh, no, we did. We absolutely did. Defensively, Gardner led the way in terms of tackles. Meyer also broke the 100-point mark. In terms of tackles for loss, Christie with 27. In terms of QB sacks, King led the way with an even 10. Our top interceptor was A.J. Ross. Then kicking-wise, for almost 28 of 32. Actually had a pretty good year, all things considered, but Bruce Tootin, over 4,200 yards punting. That's an issue. That's a big issue. Let's see what else we have going on here, at least around the league. So Reynaud, 4,600 yards. So again, to have a quarterback finish that far up there, it's very disappointing. Reynaud, 48 touchdowns, 10 picks. Jesus. I can see why he won MVP. Ezekiel Elliott led the way rushing-wise, I would assume. 4,700 yards, nearly 1,500. In terms of rushing touchdowns, a 4-way tie with 11. In terms of receiving, let's take a look. So top receptions, Cooper Kupp, 1 of 2 to break the 100 mark. And in terms of receiving yards, Mack finishing with 1,100 puts him up there. Relatively top touchdown total was Mike Evans in New England. Blocking wise, let's take a look at what we have here. So Laramie Tunsil is by far the worst. However, Luke Jensen was up there, and that's very concerning. Second-year pro. In terms of tackles, Barry Hess was up there. Quarterback sacks, you had Gilbert Baggs. So not bad for Larry King to finish with 10. It's still just a disappointing way to go. It really is. Well, let's move forward. We'll see how the playoffs end up going down. And, of course, we will get to the draft as both of our staff members have re-signed, which is great news for us. Rayshon Sapp's back from injury. That doesn't help. The Pro Bowl roster, it's another Browns-Rams Super Bowl. Jesus Christ, how many is that? That's at least their second or third. My God. I don't know. Jamius Mack made it as the 6th wideout. Do we have anybody else? I was going to say, I don't know if we had anybody make it. Shout out to Shatley. Great name. Great name. George Christie was the top defensive tackle. That's not too bad. Again, people had their doubts about him, but he had a really good season this year. We only had 2 Pro Bowlers, which I guess is not that surprising. So place your bets between the Browns and Rams as far as who is going to win the Super Bowl. We are going to continue to focus scouting on the linebackers. Although, for the hell of it, let me look at Morgan Murray. I mean, if he was like can't miss, I would consider it. Although, again, we're not really allowed to get anything back from McCormick. Let me take a look at these other tight end options since we have points to burn. God, that white flash is fucking brutal. Like a design decision. Who said, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's have it flash white. Like, what are you doing? Let's continue to look at the rest of the linebacker options. And we'll take it from there. Again, the good thing is we pretty much scouted everybody that we needed to. Although, there might be a few that we missed in terms of negotiations. We don't have to do anything. The Rams win Super Bowl 61. So they barely win the division and then go on to win the Super Bowl. That's not great, is it? As far as scouting is concerned, is there anybody off the top of the board that we're missing? Again, quarterback-wise, it's fine. Running back-wise, I mean, we already looked, so we're good. I mean, we probably could use a star running back, but I don't know if that'll be the right choice. And really, again, it all depends on how the draft plays out. We don't yet know who will be available to us, so there's no real point in speculating like, oh, well, let's get this guy. He might be available. Sanzenbacher, by the way. Great name. And, of course, we have the points to burn. Again, we basically have everybody scouted out that we need to, so I'm not too concerned about, oh, I scouted a guy who wasn't projected to be drafted. It's no big deal. We still have 2 more weeks worth of points to waste, so, and to be honest, I don't even know if it's worth it. I might start scouting out 7th round guys, although we kind of know that players in the 7th round end up being fucking terrible, so is it really worth it? Who knows? Let's focus on safeties. Okay, let's not. They're all terrible. What about corners? Okay. And yeah, why not? Zach Tubbs. Might as well look at old Tubbs too. Let's waste these points, damn it. Tank Ives. Great name. Great name. To the final week of free agency. I'm intrigued to see who's going to be available to us in this draft. And as far as scouting is concerned, who cares? Let's just look at quarterbacks. I don't plan on taking anybody. Let's just burn through these points. And at least that way we know. There we go. Let's see how free agency went down for everybody else. And to the draft we go. The league signings. Carson Wentz to the Saints. No huge overalls going anywhere this year. But still, Jameis Winston to Seattle. Dak to the Bears. Not too bad. Alright. To the draft we go. Let's see who will still be available to us here with the 5th pick. The Bengals have the number 1 overall selection. They take 78 overall linebacker Duncan James. Minnesota with the 2nd pick take safety 80 overall Michael Cohen. Steelers take an 81 tackle. That would have been nice. And the Chiefs take a 79 middle linebacker, which makes you think the number 1 overall player might still be available. So if we look at the options here, right, because we do still have some options, and in general, let me get the old team depth chart up there. Quarterback-wise, of course, we're good to go. I don't think Morgan Murray is going to be the guy to take. I think we're still going with McCormick. He's a 90 overall player. I mean, there might be doubts, but we have to stick with him. We have to. We have no choice. Morgan Murray might end up being better, but we have to stick with him. Running back-wise, we do have Hughes and Reynaud, but there's no doubt that going for a player, and you know what, I'm going to make sure I remember to set up the old straw poll here, because this decision, of course, will be up to you guys yet again. So again, quarterback-wise, there's really nothing we can do. Running back-wise, though, the choice is always there of taking somebody now or waiting to see if any of these 5 players drop down to the second round. Clayton Massey is the real wild card here, with he not having been involved in the combine. You look at someone like Randall Merritt out of Georgia, a receiving back. I mean, the speed isn't quite up there. He does have decent agility, though, projected as a mid-first rounder, but at 24 years old, I'm going to disqualify him. I'd prefer not to go for him. But Clayton Massey is the real interesting one because he's 21 years old, projected as an early first rounder. Darian Paul out of Louisville, also projected as a mid-first rounder, but has the speed and the agility that you would expect out of an elusive back. And I think here, more than likely, if we were going to take a running back in the first round, it would have to be Massey. But if we were to wait and take somebody else, maybe picking up a Darian Paul in the second round, if he was still there, would be the best way to go. We also have Tyrone Sloan out of Notre Dame, another receiving back, but he does have the speed and agility. He is also younger, so he could be an option. Probably not the preferred option, though. I mean, again, could be worth taking in the second round if he's still there. And then Fernando Capers, which is a great name, out of Nebraska, an elusive back, has the speed, has the agility, no doubt about it. But obviously, it looks like Darian Paul is a better version of Capers. So I think that's pretty much the target. In terms of running backs, I'm going to have Massey and Paul on the poll. And with Paul, again, he might be better for somebody. He might be a better pick at the second round if he falls. That might be the type of player he is. If we're going to take a running back in the first round, it's going to be Clayton Massey. Fullback-wise, there is apparently a Hall of Fame level fullback in Tremonde Person, or Person, perhaps, out of Florida. I'd like to take him. Maybe we get him in the second round. I mean, he's projected in the 7th round, but is a second-round talent. Might end up taking him, even though Hackett, our normal fullback, is fine. Wideout-wise, this, of course, is always a discussion, now isn't it? Top wideout in this draft. There are only 2 guys who are projected to go in the first round, and that are actual first-round talents. Joseph Dillard, out of Arizona. He's 5'10", rapid, ridiculous agility. The top skills are very weird. I don't know how to explain that, but at 23 years old, mid-first round talent. Again, I'm always a bit nervous when it comes to deep threats. 5'10", they have ridiculous speed and agility, but they're short. And I don't know, maybe the game doesn't sim that way, but I always feel like if you have a player like this who doesn't have either the height or the vert jump to back it up, if you throw deep, if they don't beat that safety, it's picked every time. So Dillard will be on the list. Maybe that is the type of player that we're missing, that ridiculous speed threat. Also a hometown boy, or at least went to college in Arizona as well. He's an option. Or we have Sonny Hopkins out of Appalachian State, also 23, same type of player. A little bit more height, but not as good. A little bit more height. He's also, were they the same age? They are the same age. He doesn't have as good of hands. I think that's the issue. Has the speed, has the agility. If we were going to go for one of the 2, it would probably be Dillard. I think I'm going to put Hopkins on the list as well. I'll leave that up to you guys as far as whether or not one of those 2 are good to go. Tight end wise, nobody projected in the first round. I mean, again, it doesn't mean we couldn't go off the board, but going off the board with the 5th overall pick is way too risky. Left tackle, we have Caesar Pickens out of Alabama. Early first round projection, and you can see why. 22 years old, ridiculous power, ridiculous agility. Again, no matter what we've done with the O-line, it has struggled. This year included, unfortunately. He could be that elite missing piece that we need. He's the only left tackle available. Left guard, we have 2 options. Antoine Buckley out of Miami, who, again, is also a beast. Now, he is projected as a mid-first round talent as opposed to an early first round talent like Pickens, but he could still be worth having on this roster as well. He's an agile type, but he also has the best bench press amongst the left guards in this draft, which isn't saying too much. Look at the talent there. Dylan Baxter out of Wisconsin. The bench press is a little bit low, but he is an agile type, and the agility is at an elite level. So, I mean, in terms of the O-lineman we've looked at thus far, I don't think Baxter is going to be the guy that's worth taking, but he is still an option. I don't know, maybe having a more agile type on the O-line could be worth it. It's not as if the bench press was horrifically low, but it's not exactly ideal. Center-wise, we only have one option, Rashard Barrington out of Penn State. He's an agile type, but the agility is a bit low. The bench press, though, is way up there. So, or not way up there, but it's up there amongst centers. So, I don't know. I'll put him on the board as well, but it's very weird that he's an agile type, but the agility isn't his strong suit. It's more of the bench press. So, he'll be on the poll as well, but I don't know if he's the best way to go. Right guard, there is very clearly only one. It's LaMarcus Alexis out of USC. Again, an agile type. Good strength, good agility, though. Projected as a mid-first round pick. I would still say Pickens right now is looking like the best O-lineman available. You could make the argument for Buckley, though. And then right tackle, we don't have anybody there. Defensively, we have Laurel McMillan out of Montana. And I'm not really feeling it. Now, he is 21, late first round projection. But, yeah, with the agility being as low as it is, he'd be a better defensive tackle. For sure. He would be a better defensive tackle. So I'll put him on the list for that reason. I think, again, if you move him over to defensive tackle, it would make much better use of the strength. He is listed as a late first round guy. Right end, we only have one option. It is Kendall Gels out of Syracuse. And despite being 21 and having a decent amount of potential, the strength is a little bit low, but the speed and agility is there. Makes me think he would almost be better as a linebacker as opposed to a lineman, although as a speed rusher on the outside, he certainly has the moves, the finesse moves at a B- to, get around the defenders. So right now on the left end, we do have Brooks, Seamster, and Trapp, and on the right end we move down King. So McMillan or Gels would be helpful. I don't know if that's the thing that we need the most, though. In the defensive tackle, there's only one option. I don't have a full report on Howard Saunders, who really jumped up the rankings, but it's Banks Agnew out of Clemson. The 22-year-old projected as a late first rounder. The agility is okay. The strength is obviously the highlight for him. And it's looking okay. It's looking okay. Again, though, whether or not he's worth the 5th overall pick, that's the choice. Linebackers, we start off with Pierce Carey out of Louisville. On the left-hand side, the 22-year-old mid-first round projection has the speed, has the agility, has the strength, looking like the real deal. So Pierce Carey will be an option at linebacker for us. Middle linebacker, we only have one. That's Bennett Goodson out of Pittsburgh. 23 years old, mid-first round projection, has the speed, has the agility, has the strength. Good in zone coverage, is a pass coverage type. Bennett Goodson also looking like a really good option. We have 2 really good options thus far at linebacker. And on the outhand, oh my god, on that right-hand side, we have 4 options from the looks of it. We start off with Gordon Wells out of Florida State. Early first-round projection as a power rusher, but the combine grades aren't amazing. The speed's not great, the agility's not great, and the bench isn't great. So he'll be an option. I mean, the top skills look great. He's a young player as well. He would have time to develop, but those combine numbers are pretty concerning. We have Heston Ganther out of USC as well, another power rusher. Early first round projection. The top skills are looking good, but the speed is low. Agility and bench press, though, not all that bad. It's just a matter of where we want to go in the draft. Do we want to improve the defense that struggled this year, or do we want to finally try to carve out the offense that looks to still be a step away? Xavier Cochran out of Texas. Again, the top skills are looking great. He's a young player as well. He'd have time to develop, but the speed and agility are a little bit concerning, so I don't know if we'd want him to be the player for us. And Fisher Black, who was a second-round projection but first-round talent. He's 24 years old. I'm not going to include him on the list. I'd try to get him in the second round instead. But, I mean, the speed, the agility, the strength, it's all pretty much there. The top skills are there. I guess I'll put him there, but the problem with him is he'll have a half-decent overall, but he's not going to have that much time to get any better. We move over into the secondary. There's only one corner available. Now, again, we do kind of need a corner. Cole and Meyer, you know, they're getting up there a little bit. So Otham Middlebrooks out of Georgia could be the guy for us. And he's pretty goddamn elite, I got to be honest. Mid-first round talent, has the speed, has the agility, has the jumping at 5'10". If we wanted to get that replacement and make sure that we're covered at corner in case of further regression, Otham Middlebrooks would be the guy to take. And then again, safety, we're still looking good with Griffith and Ross, but technically, you know, we have options here with DeMarco Bernard, who is 21, so we'll have plenty of time to develop. Top skills are okay. Late first round projection, has the speed, has the agility, and has the vertical as well. So Bernard is also there for us, as well as TJ DeVree out of Kentucky. 22 years old, top skills looking good, late first round projection, but again, in terms of the combine results, he is right where we'd want him to be. And on the other safety spot, we only have one. That's Joey Henderson out of UCLA. The vert jumps a little bit low, but everything else is looking okay. Early first round projection as well at 22, despite the top skills being a little bit low. I will give you another look, as we might end up taking that kicker later on. I will give you another look at this team at the moment. So that way, you know, you kind of have the full scope here. So again, at quarterback, we're good. Running back, we could go for Massey, or we could hope that Paul is there in the second round. Jamon Hughes has declined down to a 77, so DeMarcus Reynaud would be the starter next year. I think we have to hope for a running back. It's just whether or not we take Massey with this pick, or we hope that someone like Paul or somebody else is available in the second round. Fullback-wise, we might replace Tucker Hackett if it makes sense. Wideout-wise, we still have Wilson and Mack. Farrell had a really good season, but there's no doubt we could use one more option at wideout. And again, for first-round talents, we only have Dillard and Hopkins, but that true speed threat, we do have Mack. Would it be worth adding another option? Tight end, we're good with Marshall and Sapp for now. I don't know if it was really going to be worth taking anybody at tight end with this first pick. And then again, on the offensive line, we have Pickens, Buckley, Baxter, Barrington, and Alexis. Right now on the O-line, we have Luke Jensen, who was terrible this year, Gallarda, who we drafted last year, Blake Ramirez, Carter Schuleter, and Quayshawn Ramsey. We still lack an elite O-lineman. This might be the chance to get one. Left end, we have McMillan available, and we also have Gilles on the right-hand side. But currently on the left-hand side, we have Demetrios Brooks, who has turned 30 years old. So for how much longer he's going to be around, I don't know. And on the right-hand side, Frank King has regressed. Hit the magic age of 30. He drops 4 overall points to a 78. That is very concerning, so no doubt we'll look to pick up some defensive line help in this draft. And at defensive tackle, we still have Christie and Trey Gilmore. Kawan Beatty as well. Agnew was the option there. Of course, Agnew might be the better option between McMillan and Gels to move over. And of course, Trey Gilmore could be moved to the defensive line with that speed that or to defensive end with the speed that he has. Linebacker-wise, we do have Tremaine Morgan, who had a good rookie season. Larson as another option. Middle linebacker, we still have Darby Clem and Harvey Gardner on the right-hand side. Of course, there was Carey, Goodson, Wells, Ganther, and Cochran. Black as well for linebacker options. At corner, we still have Meyer, but Cole is down to a 78, so Middlebrooks would look pretty good as the second option behind Meyer, with Cole being relegated to the third option at corner. And then safety, we still have Griffith, and we still have A.J. Ross. So between Bernard, DeVree, and Henderson, don't really need them unless you were to believe that one of those three safeties would be a good corner convert over Middlebrooks. I'll still leave all three of them as options. But that is the entire situation. That is the scope of what is going on. We fall short of making the playoffs this year, but perhaps this next upcoming year will be our year. It really depends on how well this draft goes for us. We have to be very selective with who we want to get with this number 1 pick. Again, the poll will be a multiple choice, so tag any players that you'd like to see me take with this 5th overall pick, and the top voted on option will be who we select, and from there, rounds 2 to 7, I need to hope that I don't completely screw it up. Thank you guys for watching and still supporting this series. Still have the hopes of making the playoffs and being a little bit more successful than that. We do know in these Draft to Glory type series it takes a little bit of time, especially too in Madden, where, you know, players hit 30 and they fall off a cliff. So it's a little bit tough. But thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next one. Until then, have a good one.